It was almost 2 years ago that I was held hostage on a television news set by a young man who pointed what looked like a real .45 caliber automatic pistol. He put it at the back of my neck and asked me to read a statement over the air. I complied, and it turned out my captor was using a look-alike toy gun just like this one. He could have been shot by the police, and other innocent bystanders could have been wounded or killed in the crossfire. This would not have been the first time that someone with a toy gun was shot by police who thought they were carrying the real thing. Incidents like this seem to be happening all the time. The way I fought back was by helping other cities and states to pass ordinances and laws to ban the manufacture, the sale, and the distribution of these look-alike and replica toy guns. I work with the California legislature in getting a law passed that stops the sale of these guns. It has taken a lot of time and effort through the legal process to get these ordinances and bills passed. Such laws are now being considered in New York, New Jersey, and Michigan, and in dozens of cities across the United States. But the toy industry saw such legislation as only a minor setback until California became the first state to ban the sale of look-alike toy guns. The toy companies reassessed the situation and were looking for ways to protect the estimated $300 million a year business that is generated by toy gun sales. They set out to sabotage and nullify any laws that were on the books by proposing a weak federal law just to protect themselves. Toy guns account for close to $300 million in annual sales for the toy industry. Toy makers were not going to lose the huge California market for such toys if they could help it. In order to defeat the new toy gun law in California, the toy manufacturers' lobby in Washington drafted its own bill, which would require that muzzle plugs or other parts of toy guns be made of bright red plastic. That would supposedly make such toys easier to distinguish from real weapons. But many law enforcement officials say marking toy guns with red flashes isn't going to make street confrontations with police any less dangerous.
Well, if it looks real, then any officer would be a damn fool out there if he didn't react as if he was facing a real weapon. And the fact that it has the orange plug is really not going to change anything. It's actually going to complicate things and make the officer more vulnerable, either vulnerable to injury or death to himself, or more vulnerable to public criticism because the second guessers are going to say he should have known it had the orange plug. It's just not fair. And it's no big thing to, paint a fluorescent orange using paint on a trigger safety or on a magazine or on a sight or anything else. And we end up with a funeral for a dead police officer because that happened to be a real weapon that somebody just put a bright orange plug in the end.
But perhaps the most dangerous part of the proposed bill was that it would have preempted all state and local toy gun laws, thereby neutralizing such laws as California's, which bans the sale, manufacture, and distribution of realistic toy guns statewide. And that, of course, was the toy makers' real intent, not to save lives, but to protect their profits. The toy manufacturers persuaded Senator Dole to carry their proposal as an amendment to Senator Metzenbaum's energy bill. Now, it might have passed virtually unnoticed if I hadn't heard about it from a congressional source. I immediately began an effort of my own to protect not only California's new toy gun law, but any other state or city that might want to pass similar legislation. With the help of several congressmen and senators and law enforcement groups, we helped block the amendment and managed to protect these laws from being wiped off the books.